Move over, Swanson. I'm driving.
Wow!
Hey, Slam! My thing is bigger than your whole boat.
Welcome back to the Caddyshack Minute. This is the show where we view and watch and discuss and cannonball with the film Caddyshack 1 minute at a time.
Oh, cannonball. Cannonball.
No!
Nope, cannonball.
Do it!
Do it. Yeah, do it. Cannonball.
I'll pretend that I planned that just as a sort of meta kind of commentary on the minute. My name is Tom Taylor, and I'm here with Mike DeMaria.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Mike. And you and I'm excited to say, are both joined again by Dan Lewis.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm in a much more upbeat mood this time. You may remember from the last episode that I was suffering some back problems, and I'm unhappy to say that I still am, but that I've decided to try to have a better attitude. So I'm much more upbeat this time.
Would you take an upper?
Yeah, exactly. It's my own mixture. It's Northern Colombian Novocaine cocaine mixture with the
I hear that. I can tell that dog is still sitting right next to you. That was in our last episode.
I like to do the podcast with the dogs here. They're one. There's these like comfort animals. You know, you see at the my
airport.
friend got mad the other day. By the way, he hates this idea of the stop it, Matilda. He hates this, he hates the idea of
Get 'em out of the
people
room.
using comfort animals at the farmers market because you're not allowed to have dogs at the farmers market.
Yeah.
But he said he saw a dog at the farmers market and he was getting very angry.
It was a comfort dog?
Yeah, one of these like was that the name for it? A comfort dog?
Somebody please tell me what a comfort dog is. I'm not
They have
tracking
them
this at all.
They have them like at the airport. If people are anxious, they walk around with like it's like not empathy. It's like they have a name for it.
You get a prescription for it basically, and so if you can prove it, then you get to take it places where they don't normally go.
Someone walks around with it. And so if you're nervous about getting on an airplane or something, you can pet the dog. It makes you feel better.
Holy shit. It's not your
emotional
dog? They
support
give you
animal.
a dog?
It's called emotional support animal.
I'll tell you what right now.
Holy shit.
To listen to that collar whipping around is not giving me any emotional support whatsoever.
Yeah, but you know what I like about it, though?
Tough titty.
It's masking the swallowing sounds I'm making as I drink my water, so I'm kind of into it.
Figure that one out. Put that in your computer.
All right, so my daughter was
Comfort dog.
was in the 8th grade play the other day, and it was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right?
Hey.
And my daughter played Violet Beauregard's mom in the movie. It's the Violet and there's the father, but she played the mother.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the girl was going through her speech about winning holds the world record for chewing gum, and she goes, "See, I'm chewing gum," and she put her mouth right up against the microphone and.
Oh
She
my
goes, That's
God.
right, I'm chewing gum. And she did it again.
Oh.
And I started like churning in my seat.
Oh, did she point you out in the crowd? This one's for you, Dad.
No, it wasn't her that was chewing. She played the mom of
Oh, it was the kid. Okay,
Yeah, the kid, yeah. And I was like, oh, dear Christ. This is a wonderful play, but I can't take it. But this is such a wonderful play. They're doing such a great
chewing.
job, but I can't
The
take it.
things
I
we
can't
do for
take
our
it.
kids.
Yeah.
I can't take it. Can't do it.
Wow, that's horrible.
Wow. You're turning violet. You're turning violet.
Yeah, you're turning green, Mike.
And you know how they did that? The girl had blue paint in her hand the entire time. And while she was on stage, and then when she started turning blue, she started rubbing her face, and it turned blue.
Oh, that's
that's
hysterical.
good.
It was very good. They did a good
That
job.
must have
Nice.
been fun to watch.
You take that gum chewing out of it, best play ever, man. What movie's that?
Best play ever, man.
What
What do
movie's
you
that
think,
from?
Mr. Little Jeans?
Best play ever, man.
Burn my fingers, man. It's minute 78. Can I haven't done my introduction of the minute that we're discussing
do
today.
the
Caddyshack.
bookends.
Yeah, the
why not,
bookends, as we call them. This minute, 78, begins with Carl showing Ty his newly invented grass, and it ends with Ty in mid-cannonball. There, now you can get back to talking about other stuff.
Huh.
Actually, I like this minute, though. I like this. I have more to say about this minute than I did about the last minute.
Oh
Even though
yeah,
I can't
I like
remember what
this
those
minute
things
very
were.
much. It's an
Hey,
improvement.
Dan.
Yeah.
So your back's been hurting, and your whole outlook on life has been dipping a bit, right? Have you thought about the? Why am I saying right all the time? I noticed that. I'm ending every sentence by saying right. Within
that time you were just confirming with. I feel like it made sense because you were confirming with me.
No, but I'm doing it all the time, though.
So that you can
but I'm doing it all the time now, right? See, I just did it again.
Right. It's a vocal thing, right?
Okay, right.
Right.
No matter how many times you say right in a sentence, there's no way you can say it more than I say like. Maybe I'll try for the rest of this episode to not say like. How about that? Unless it's actually
by the way,
the correct
real
word
quick,
to use.
have you been smiling to strangers, Tom?
Oh, thank you for asking, Dan. I said a few episodes ago that I was going to try not smiling initially. If someone smiles to me, I'll smile back. But I'm not going to be the dope who just initiates a random smile just because somebody happens to be walking down the fucking hallway at the same time I am.
Whoa.
That's not the kind of dope you are at all.
And I've been pretty good about that. I've slipped a couple of times, given like some, zombie a friendly hello smile, and it's completely unreturned. I'm like, shit! I told those guys I wasn't going to do this, and I just I just fell on my face. But no, I've been pretty good about it, and I feel pretty good about it too. I'll say that. I think my experiment is working. I think that if I am available for a smile, maybe that's the trick too. Maybe I need to not be so available for a smile. If somebody smiles at me and I happen to catch their eye, then I can smile back as I've been doing. But I don't need to be like, okay, is that person going to smile first, or should I? Okay, I'm not going to smile first. Like I want it to be a natural thing.
You're a married man, crying out loud.
Nothing.
I'm not trying to make out with anybody.
You're trying to go around
like,
soliciting smiles from strangers. You're a married man. I'm
a married man, but a lot of these strangers are men too.
You have a wonderful wife who
wears
socks with sandals. What are you looking for?
I do, and I smile at her and her sandals constantly, and I don't feel any of these issues about it. It's fine. I don't want to be. Maybe I just want to be cool. Cool people don't smile. It's not cool to smile.
Yeah.
Smiling for suckers.
So Dan,
you're 1% closer to being cool with this move.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So what I was going to ask you with this back pain.
Mike was going to say, go ahead, Mike.
With this back pain and this kind of low in the self feeling about life lately, have you thought about capitalizing on where you live and get a pot card and get some edibles maybe?
Oh, right.
Well, this ties us into the minute too. I've had some.
I didn't think about that.
Very.
Yeah.
I have a very, very sensitive. I'm very sensitive. I don't know how much I should talk about this stuff. I have a very sensitive. I'm very sensitive to these things, and we were at a party recently. It was like one of these like afternoon. It was a birthday party, kind of picnic kind of party, and it's like a couple glasses of nice rosé or something like that, and then and then suddenly someone was passing around a reefer. A
left-handed cigarette,
if you will.
A left-handed cigarette.
A left-handed cigarette, and
yeah,
I had to go home. I mean, I had only the smallest. I had to go home, and
wow,
I had to go home. Well, first of all, we both had to go home, and then I was like, I gotta go to bed. I just immediately. There's just no. I can't deal with it. It's just too. It's not like the old days, and I also am just in a place in life where I can't be. That's not something I could be doing.
Yeah.
I know.
And
I
you
think
don't want
now
to be
they make
inhaling
it
anything.
so powerful that it's like insane, right?
Would it surprise
edibles,
either of you to know that I've never tried pot in any of its forms?
It makes complete sense to me.
I know, it's not surprising at all.
It does make sense, yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, someday I think around minute 80 or something like that.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, forget your bull shots. I'll just get stoned.
Well, they're going to have it, recreationally here in January 1st, 2018. Although, you have this whole... I've always really, really been annoyed by the charade of
I have too, yeah.
medical marijuana. It is just so absurd.
Well, it's a stepping stone.
Well, I've also been annoyed.
No, it is. I'm not annoyed by the fact that it's... I guess I'm happy that it's a stepping stone. I don't think that this stuff should be illegal, but... This whole thing about how we're gonna pretend like it's not this big recreational thing already, and then you can just like call one of these Dr. Nick type doctors in the back of the thing, and it's like this picture of this nurse in a sexy nurse's outfit with a phone number on there, and you call and you get a quote unquote appointment.
Yeah. Consultation.
Yeah, it's fun. I was thinking about doing a sketch about this, maybe, where it was like a guy calls like one of these like cheap looking ads in the back of the local paper, and it's got the pot leaf on the ad, and it says, Dr. So and so, quick, $50 evaluations, and you just go in there and you tell them you've got back pain or you're worried about future glaucoma or something, but like. And then, it'd be funny if, you show the guy calling it, and he goes in, and then they run him through this incredible battery of tests. Like he's in for this, whole, very straightforward and high-level evaluation, at the end of which they say, I'm sorry, but I don't think you need. I think you're fine. I think what you really need is a little exercise. You get off the couch.
Yeah. He goes to the Mayo Clinic.
Stop playing the video games. Say what, Mike?
He has 2 days at the Mayo Clinic.
Right,
going through a battery of tests and.
Where's my pot cookie?
Yeah, right.
But I'll tell you what, and I get it. It's a total and complete sham, charade, bushwhack. It's a whole 9 yards of just fucking lies, because I was with somebody who had when I was in Michigan, who had a card, and was getting the medical marijuana, and I'm not gonna say who it is, but. They had a whole collection of what they were getting from the clinic, and it was in these little containers that looked like the old film canisters, right?
Oh, really?
And they had names on it, so you would go to these clinics or these dispensaries, and you could choose what kind of flavor or what kind of, and they all had names. Like one was like chocolate twat. That was the name of one of them. That was the friggin' name of one of them, chocolate twat.
My word.
So you get a medical card for that, right? You go to your doctor, you call one of these things at the back of the Metro Times for $50. You can get a diagnosis, and then you go to your dispensary. It's like going to see your doctor for a chest cough, and they give you some antibiotic, and you go to the pharmacy like when you were a kid. And they say, "Do you want me to put a bubblegum flavor in the antibiotic for you?" Yeah, you go in there and say, "Here, I'll take the chocolate twat."
So wait, are you talking?
I'm imagining that. Yeah.
Was this first?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Tom.
No. You go ahead. Okay. Are you talking about were these like edibles, or were these this was like the actual?
This was the strain.
Smokable stuff.
That was the name of the strain, or whatever they cut it with to give it a little flavor. It must have had some like cocoa hints to it. You know what I mean?
It sounds like names. I'm imagining names of racehorses that were deemed inappropriate.
Yeah.
I'm thinking right now.
Comes around the fourth bend.
This is making me think of the most offensive joke I ever made up, which I think it's a funny joke, but it's extremely offensive, and I probably shouldn't even say it on this show.
This is gonna be
very
great.
offensive.
You know what?
I don't know. What?
If you guys tell the joke, Tom. But if later on, we're going to discuss it later. Mm-hmm. And if you guys are about to hear one big, long beeping noise, it was Tom telling a very offensive joke.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
And, there might be laughter afterwards. There might not. We don't know.
We'll discuss the fallout of the joke. So you might not even hear the joke, but it'll be... Right. Just imagine he's told a very offensive joke if you don't hear it. Okay.
Oh, great. You get to do more editing, possibly.
It's just a beeping noise, Tom.
Yeah, that's all you got.
I suppose that's true. It's not that hard to find or even to put in.
Right.
Now you two talk amongst yourselves for 1 second while I remember how to set up the joke.
Okay. So,
thank you,
Mike. Anyway, a friend of mine was telling me that one of the things you can get is this because I just really don't want to. I don't want to be engaged in pot, but my friend is able to get me this tincture. It's a very concentrated. But it has the other compound in it, not THC. They've extracted out the THC.
Is it like an oil?
So it's supposed to have, what's that?
Is it like an oil?
Yeah, it's like an oil. It's like a tincture. Yeah,
I don't know what that is. What's a tincture?
A tincture. I don't know. It's like a concentrated mixture of something in a little jar with a dropper.
Then that's all you got to say is a goddamn concentrated mixture in a bottle with a dropper. A tincture.
Right, but luckily they have a word for it. Tincture.
Is that something is that like from my? I'm thinking to myself, is that from My Fair Lady? Is that something?
You never heard the word tincture? You never heard the word tincture in your life?
Oh, I've heard it, but I'm thinking of like
it's
some
a tincture.
sort of
That's what it is.
But I don't know what that is, though. To end the show, it's what I kept saying.
Well, that's not my
I
fault.
don't know. Okay,
dope.
so it's a dropper.
There's no
Yes,
tincture on it.
Yeah, it's got a dropper, and supposedly it's supposed to have all the benefits. It's the THC which makes you feel paranoid and excitable, and it's this other compound that sort of balances it out, so that when you get certain strains that are higher in one, it's more lively, and the other ones are more restful. And so this one is supposed to fight anxiety, but you never actually feel intoxicated or high in any way.
Right. It just curbs the anxiety.
But I want that. Why can't I have that?
Well, he says it works great for him, but it's one of those things where we'll wait for it to be legal, and we'll do it the right way.
Well, we're waiting.
Be a basket case.
Well, we're waiting.
We're waiting.
Okay. Here's my incredibly offensive joke that I thought of. I think in high school, but I think it's very funny. What was the name of the vampire?
I don't.
Nah.
Did you make that up when you were in the AV room?
I probably did. No, I think it was in the
don't
grocery
even know.
store, and I saw Count Chocula.
I don't even know what the. Why is that particularly offensive? I would say.
Well, because it's horrible. I'm offended by the quality of the joke.
I'm
garbage.
offended comedically, but I'm not.
Right.
Did you
As a
mean
comedian.
offensive comedically?
But possibly, yes.
All right,
As a
now I do.
comedian, I'm offended, and I
Yeah.
come from a long line of comedians, and you don't know what we've been through
Yeah.
to try to make sure that jokes like that are never told.
Right.
Yeah.
So just based on the comedic value, which is 0, I should bleep it on that basis alone, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think you should believe. I think people
Just to
shouldn't
spare
have
the
had to hear
listeners.
that joke. So
All
I
right.
think right now, as we're discussing this, I'm glad that you did the right thing and bleeped it out.
Yeah, I feel good about this too.
Yeah.
I think it's even without the laughter, it's funnier as a mystery.
Yeah.
And do I bleep only the punchline? There was a punchline.
No,
by the
I
way.
think you.
No,
Or do I-
bleep the whole thing.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah,
Maybe just
bleep
the-
the whole thing.
Everything's
You know
in
what
the
reminds me
article
of?
thing because
We
you know
talked
when
about
you're
the
doing
movie
it-
Happiness.
Yeah,
We talked about the movie Happiness.
yeah.
Yes.
I think this guy Todd Solondz did this great thing. Did you see one of his? I think it was the follow-up movie to that. I want to say it's Storytelling.
I think I know what you're going to talk about. Yeah.
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 Well, there's a famous scene. So I guess in the European viewing of the movie, there's a famous scene. So where it's a kind of like a pretty rough kind of. And I won't say that there's a rape involved, but there's definitely a very, very highly sexualized and kind of almost fantasy like that playing out in a way. I don't know. Anyway, it's a graphic sex scene, and so there's this scene where this is happening, where apparently it was fine for European audiences because they were like, we don't care about stuff like that. We don't get hung up on it.
Yeah.
But American, like they were asking him to like if he wanted a certain rating to put a box over part of it,
Yeah, or like blur it out or something.
And what he
yeah.
did was absolutely brilliant. Instead of that,
Yeah.
he puts a giant red box over almost the entire screen instead of a black box. It's like this big red box, and all you hear is these like grunting noises.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much worse.
Right.
It makes it so much worse because you're like, what is going on behind that box? And I thought it was one of the most brilliant things. I loved it.
Yeah, and that's what you could do here, Tom. But we're not. So block out the whole thing, and it's not
Make it
because
red
was-
somehow.
Yeah,
I'll try to make it red.
but it's not because it was terribly offensive culturally or anything like that. It was just a really bad joke, and we're doing it to protect you as someone who says he's funny.
Right, and to protect the listener. Yeah, if the listeners hear that and I just said it was funny, they're not going to have much faith in me as a
You have no.
You know
as a host.
Yeah.
What's also very interesting about this is that you want to talk about the soft bigotry of low expectations. I think this is ends up being offensive.
Isn't that a
to some
Flaming
of-
Lips album?
Maybe it should be. It ends up being offensive to those groups in a way, ultimately, because what Tom is kind of saying is that like he's sort of saying to them, if let's just pretend there was a person of color or somebody from a marginalized group who was listening to that joke, he's saying to them that they would be mad about that part of it, and he's saying that they wouldn't just be upset like the rest of us about how unfunny it is. So he's
Right.
he's sort of presupposing
Right.
they'll be hung up on something, and that they will ignore the elephant in the room, which is that of how deeply unfunny it is.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like saying if that was said in the presence of myself and a person of color, and the person of color is like, well, I can't believe you told that joke. You'd say, you look at him and say, right? I'm sorry, I can't believe he said
Who's
that.
with me?
Yeah.
Right. And then he turns to you and
Right.
says, well, yeah, it was horrible. It was unfunny.
See, this
Yeah.
is making me sound much, much worse, because not knowing what the joke was, but knowing that there might have been an element to it that involved people of color makes me sound like a fucking asshole.
It did not. I just brought that up just because I said I was trying to think of who might be a marginalized person
Okay.
having to sit
Yeah.
through that joke. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay, there were. Oh, okay, all right.
It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think
Do you
of
think
a
the
good example.
vampires would, if a vampire heard that, would they be upset? Would they be?
Right.
Would they have a reason
Well,
to be?
I'll tell you what, if the vampire
offended?
was also a comedian, then he'd be offended.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's where
Vampires are
a
unfunny, though.
vampire would just want to die if they heard that joke, and really, they've already got an issue with
What?
that, wanting to die. Good job. Worst joke I ever heard.
It was horrifying. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, terrible.
All right. Anyway, so pot. So they're smoking pot in the scene, and
I
it made
love
me
that.
wonder: are we? But I honestly don't know, because I literally, I mean, ask Dan; he'll tell you I haven't seen a movie since he recommended a movie to me, two movies to me. But are we at the point now? Like, this pot was all over the place in the 70s and 80s and stuff. At least
Wait
the
a
very
minute.
early 80s.
So all those people that you hung out with in Connecticut,
yeah.
all those arty people and all those filmy people and all these musician-y people, none of them smoked any weed.
Almost to a person, they were all absolute teetotalers. Yeah, in every way.
Have a little
Yeah.
Mountain Dew. they
Straight
would.
hedge, we call some of them. Yeah, Mountain Dew flowed like wine.
A little Mountain Dew, no doubt.
and that
You know
was
what?
about
You were a lot like Patrick Dempsey's character in Can't Buy Me Love.
Yes, very much so.
Right. Like when he shows
Yes.
up at the cool kids party, they go, "Hey, you want a brew?" And he goes like, "Yeah, you got some A&W?" And they just like laugh at him.
Except he was all surrounded by teetotalers.
Yeah.
Well, Tom
And
was.
that's why-
yeah,
and
I
you
just
know
mean
what?
that-
And that's why
like
they're
if
all
Tom, if Tom
And they're all
had
vegans
given-
now. They're all vegans.
That's right.
Oh,
At least two of them.
really?
Two out of all of them.
And your buddy
You gotta stop
Moby.
talking to them.
And his buddy Moby that he went
My
to high
close
school
buddy
with.
Moby.
Oh, Moby, right? That's unfortunate.
I'm
Tom,
sorry.
hang on a second though. You're 6 foot. You're like 7'2" or something. You've certainly been in rooms where this is happening, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm getting
I went
at
to
here,
college.
right? Certainly, a contact high has got to be better for you. I'm in a relative to you. I'm in a stop, drop, and roll type position as a short person. So you're very up high, and I got to imagine that the clouds gather up the top. You ever like start thinking you're a stormtrooper or something for no reason, one of those parties, and not know why?
See,
Something
okay, this
like
goes
that.
back to something that somebody said to me in high school. Somebody said to me in high school, I would love to get drunk with you. I'd love to get wasted with you because you'd be hysterical. And I was like, fuck
He's
you.
not.
I'm hysterical right now. The reason that you want to get drunk with me is because I'm hysterical.
Yeah.
But like
Did I
I'm
ever tell you the
I'm
one
already
about
that
the,
guy.
Did I ever tell you the one about the that had the blah blah blah? So that got
Okay.
bleeped out too.
I gotta
All
bleep
right.
That
that
was
too.
just, folks. I just did a great callback of Tom's joke, but you didn't hear it.
No. It was almost funnier the way Dan did it too. He didn't
Yeah.
even do the whole joke. He just referenced it and it was funny that way.
Right, just off this. I kind of shot. From
Sorry,
the hip.
everybody. But yeah, no. So to answer your question, I don't actually know for a fact that I've ever gotten any kind of contact high because I feel like my wife has the theory that I'm just naturally slightly high. That my like baseline is what most people are trying to attain when they're getting stoned.
No.
Am I using that word right? Stoned?
No, it's completely wrong and baseless. Because you carry
She
all
wears
the
socks with sandals.
You're you're because you're kind of childlike. We'll all agree on that. You have a perspective on life that's very positive, but
To a degree.
but you do carry a lot of things. You are anxious in a sense. You are
Oh, God, yeah.
anxiety, and you do have a little bit of There's some sadness behind all the fun that you like to do.
Tears of the clown.
Right. If you got high, that would all melt away.
Oh, yeah?
To an extent, for a short period of time, followed by intense sadness.
Oh, really?
Yes. Then it all comes crashing back.
Is that true with pot, really? I thought that was I thought pot was supposed to be like the kind of like
I think
zero drawbacks.
When you get older, that might be more possible. When you're younger, things are
when
just
you get
different.
older,
like, you don't have any. Yeah.
When you get
much
older
more
and you have people that rely on you, like your kids, and if you were to do it now, even at a time when you know what, I'm not around anybody for the next 3 days. I'm not speaking from experience here at all. Wink, wink. But what I'm saying is, even if you're like sequestered somewhere else and you're by yourself and you don't have to rely on anybody, or nobody has to rely on you and you're insane, and it happens, then you go to that place where like, oh my God, what if they call me right now? Or what if something happens like horribly, or something happens where they have to get a hold of me?
I totally agree. Or like,
and you're like, oh my God, I'm a horrible person. Yeah, and I'm such a horrible person because if I had to, yes, I'm over in another state and I'm by myself but if I had to get on a plane or in a car right now to get to where they are, I could not do it. And I am terrible because I put myself in this situation.
Yep, you'd be the gigantic asshole, wouldn't you?
No, it's not even asshole. It's just that you would be, you are the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Because and that is a good snapshot of parenting is if you're never off the clock.
Yeah, no matter where you are. Drink too. This is why I don't drink too much, because I feel like I want to always be able to, if I need to snap to it, I don't do it. You know what I mean? I've got a limit where I shut it off and I go, that's it for tonight. You know? And I love to have a drink, but I'm just saying, it's like because what if something needs to happen where it's like, this needs to happen now.
Yeah. Dan, where are you? Yeah.
Yeah, or if like the kid's school calls out of the blue and says, we need you to fill out this form now. And I can't fill out this form because I can't even hold a pencil. Or how am I supposed to be
drawing little bunnies on it?
We need you to fill out a bunch of forms we need you to fill out a bunch of forms in a room full of Doritos, but you can't touch any of the Doritos.
There's a lot of math involved.
Until you fill out the forms.
Until you're done with the forms.
It's all
That's like a torture.
You know what? Your kid's gonna fail math unless you can answer these 3 word problems. And you sit down.
Okay, I'll never try pot.
And you sit down, and it's paragraphs of word problems.
Tom,
of people riding
Tom, you
trains.
Should. I don't really understand.
Yeah.
I don't really understand this abstinence at this level. Doesn't really make any sense.
I mean,
it doesn't. Telling you right now.
I mean, by now it's not even like a conscious thing. It just I've not done it for so long and never even considered it that it's not like
Yeah,
like I was actively not doing it in like college or something when it was around.
Well, I'll tell you what,
like, since I'm not around it.
But it's good now because if you don't want to have him try it now and then he gets hooked now.
Yeah, that could be really boring.
You're not going to get. First of all, why would anybody get hooked? You're not going to get hooked.
I know.
I do have an addictive personality.
If it's Star Wars.
Yeah. Right.
Look at me.
But I mean, it might be fun for you to watch Star Wars with a little bit of weed.
I got completely loaded.
It's fun enough as it is.
In college, I got completely zapped out of my skull. Mm-hmm. And we were watching Clockwork Orange for like the 50,000th time. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was because we lived in Florida out in the middle of in like where the cow fields are everywhere. We got mushrooms. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
The very safe, according to the news recently, the very safest of all drugs.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh yeah, I think I read that too.
Is it?
Yeah, that was in the news. Yeah.
Well, if you pick the right ones, you got to pick the right ones, or the other ones aren't so safe.
Well, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you have to know the ones that you got to go pick. So, but
if you're at Hatfield and you go over to the McCoy's cow pasture to pick it, it's a different thing.
No, it's not that way, you asshole. It's like there's certain ones that are dangerous and there's ones that aren't. You have to know what to look for. I didn't know what to look for.
Yes. But I just mean like once you get a bag of them from a guy I don't actually go out to pastures to do it.
No, I don't either. But you're all set. You get them from the guy comes to the door.
I remember they were flowing in Florida. People had like bags full of them because they would go out to the cows. I don't know. They grow great in Florida there.
Yeah, after a rain because they'd pop up real quick. Mm-hmm. But we were watching Yeah, it's stupid. It's all ridiculous. Like I would never. It's total paranoia too. That taps into your paranoia like there's no tomorrow. But I remember watching Clockwork Orange, and it was like being on a roller coaster while we were watching.
Seems like a terrible idea.
It was a horror. It was that. Now that's the movie. That's the worst movie to watch because you watch it normally and you see the humor in it, and you see kind of like the funny, and you see kind of like the greater storyline and the government. You see all the different things, but at the end of the day, there's safety in the fact that it's kind of humorous, right?
Yeah, it's like if you made it all dystopia. Oh my goodness!
And that's when we did it. When we were on the mushrooms, the mushrooms.
Yeah,
all that comedy was stripped away,
right?
And
no
it was
fuzzy
the
warbles.
most. Yeah, there was no fuzzy warbles to play your blockos on, and there was no angel
That's a
trumpets.
bad movie to watch.
I'll tell you. Here's the best way to put it. It was completely stripped of angel trumpets, and all that left were devil trombones.
Right? Yeah.
And it
was one big muddied lake.
It was and it wasn't a muddied lake in the sense that it was confusing. It was a horror film.
It's a horror film. It's bad.
And you were sitting there. It was just like my mouth was open, like I was screaming, and nothing was coming out.
God.
And when Dim and the other Droogie came back as policemen and they dragged him out into the woods.
Oh,
well.
That's awful.
And they had his head under in the water, and he was hitting him with the stick.
Yeah.
Every time they'd hit him, it had like this bong, right?
Yeah, it has a weird sound effect, like a reverberating gong or something.
But that rang like a megaphone throughout the house.
God.
But the sad thing is, the scary thing is, it wasn't only me. The guy I was watching with also heard the exact same thing.
Oh my God.
It was like waking up from a nightmare and your friend going, did that just happen to you too?
Right.
So we were like experiencing the same exact things. And it was like,
God.
I'm like, this is not right.
That scares me. Just thinking about that. Because I have this faint feeling like in a movie like that once in a while, and like I'd be like watching it in like some high school friend's house where the parents were gone, and we got a crazy movie like that. And we're gonna watch it, and it's like echoing throughout their big house because everybody had these like big. I live in a town, but watching it, and I always sort of felt like if I just turned behind me, there'd be Slugworth, and he would just like tap my shoulder and go, come with me. You have to come with me now.
Yeah.
Sluggy.
I go with comedies all the way. To me, it's just like a great way.
That's the only way to do it.
A great movie to watch would be Jackass. I would highly recommend.
Step Brothers.
And that was the one I probably told that story where one of the years ago I was blasted and got like a pizza and watched Step Brothers, and then when it ended, I just went, that was great, and I just started it again and just watched the entire thing again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's Spreckenseed Dick.
I think you do well there, Tom. You need to find a good weekend and just have a little fun, because there's no.
And I think with Tom,
no harm at all.
And
that's
you know
the
what?
Thing. There's
Tom doesn't need to be smoking anything. Just get him like an edible or something, like a cookie or something.
Yeah, it would be better.
And just enjoy yourself and just go down and just feel, allow yourself to feel it and then be done with it.
May I present an idea? A Caddyshack Revisited podcast, one-time podcast.
Oh.
You guys come out to California after January 1st, 2018, and we very legally eat a couple of those brownies and then have a live podcast. Oh, boy. That would be insane.
That'd be good fun.
All right.
Here's one more terror. That's the problem, though, Tom, is there was a lot of terror in there, too. It wasn't all just relaxation.
No.
So
but
in
if
the
you get
90s,
the right circumstance, it's fine.
I understand that.
You're scaring Tom is what bugs me about this. There's no reason to.
But so in the 90s in Florida, and the few friends that we had that also had who lived in Japan, right? They would go back to Japan for over the holidays, and they'd come back, and they would bring this cough medicine that they would all be on.
Oh God.
Brome.
There was a special Japanese cough medicine that a friend of ours got hooked on it.
It was ephedrine and codeine. It was ephedrine and codeine. That was pretty much all it was. And they'd go back and they'd bring back a suitcase full of these little bottles. But it was also in pill form too. But you would take that, and it would be like you'd just be up for like 3 or 4 days. Yeah. But I wouldn't touch it. I said that stuff's crazy. But then they would start throwing around. These guys would be tapping into ecstasy too.
Oh.
And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I said, I'll try the cough medicine. But the guy gave me ecstasy on accident. I was taking the pills.
Oh, jeez.
Our friend goes, he didn't know. He gave me one of those instead of the Brone. And I said, and I didn't know until like because then we'd go to Ybor City.
Suddenly it was raves, 2 days later.
Yeah, and when raves were really big at this time.
Oh.
So, and I didn't like them, but I said, I'll go this time. So it went, and when you're on ecstasy, you start like rubbing your body, like your arms and everything, because it feels good. So I was at the State Theater at this rave.
Tourist.
Yeah, and I said, I don't like the way this feels. I go, what happened? And he goes, I think I gave you the wrong thing. I said, I didn't want to take anything at all. I don't like this.
Oh, the old mix-up. We shouldn't have put them in those identical-looking bottles.
Yeah.
But
and juggled them.
So I said,
like
I don't like this.
Suitcases at the railroad station.
I said, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And I'm not at home. I'm not in my comfort zone. I'm at this theater in Ybor City. And it was like, we were at this rave, and I go, I don't even like these things. Why am I here? What the hell's going on? I go, now I'm mad. I'm going to strangle you. Why did you do this to me? Now you brought me out here. And I'm rubbing my hands furiously because all this time I'm angry and I'm paranoid, but I'm like, God, this feels great on my hands. So I'm just keeping rubbing my hands. And they took me in the back because I was starting to freak out. And they took me in the back in like this, it was a place, the State Theater was also where bands would play. So there was like a green room in the back.
Place.
So they took, remember the State Theater in Ybor?
Yeah, I went there.
Yeah. We saw, but you would have like, and the green room part was open and I was in there. And I'm starting to feel a little better. They get me some water. And then there was a drag show that was going to go on after. Oh. And I was looking at the door and I'm just staring at this door and I'm rubbing my hands and I'm like, why am I staring at this door? And then the door started to like swell, like it was like, I turned into like I was in the chocolate factory all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Like Willy Wonka. The door started to just like balloon up, and then it would, like it was breathing, and then it would swell down, and then it blew up again. And I'm like looking, I'm like, no, because it's coming. The door blew open, and this like 6'5" drag queen walked in.
Whoa.
And I remember it was just this moment where like it was like Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory. And he just like walked in dancing and then walked out. And I was just like, take me home. And I go, I don't ever want to do anything again that messes with your head.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I don't like this. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't like it.
See, I'm curious about that, but it sounds you're not making it sound like a fun thing.
That's not.
He's talking about ecstasy right now.
Yeah.
Though. That's
I know. I'm not saying that, but like even when you're talking about like getting paranoid by smoking pot or something, it's like, oh, that's weird that you would get.
I'll tell you how
you would have such a strong feeling about such a nothing thing.
Here's how it is.
Right.
Here's how it is. Here's what you can expect. If you were sitting there stressing out about everything that you have to do and everything that's bothering you and worrying you, 5 minutes later you're like, why am I worrying about anything?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That sounds absolutely great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I do that constantly?
And in there, because of the the breathing in of the smoke in the lungs and you do tend to eat a lot. And you tend not to go to work if you do it all the time.
Well, it's best to have a nice big full meal and a little bit of coffee, and then
a little
keep talking.
Artisanal
a little
coffee.
and then and then I would suggest Step Brothers, but you can do some other movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you will find
Sounds
yourself.
heavenly.
You may also find yourself like standing in front of your freezer with the freezer door open, just completely and utterly destroying a gallon of ice cream.
Yeah, that's my weakness right there. Give me some.
And
none of these
I
things
will
sound so bad.
Finish
And
it.
after every like 3 or 4 scoops, you put it back in the fridge, and then you immediately you close the fridge or the
You think
freezer,
you're
and then you immediately open the freezer up again, and then and then take it out and eat another 15 scoops, and then put it back in.
Yeah.
Then there's 5 dirty spoons sitting in the sink from each time that you decided you were done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
I've experienced that without pot.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, by the way, so can I just say that I like the way Chevy Chase does this scene.
Me too.
I think it's very good. His thing where he's like saying, no, is like, I was a bit confused by it when I was younger, and now I just sort of accept it as just a goofy, funny thing. But he just goes, he's like, no, but he's like, yes.
But he's taking it,
He keeps taking it. And he's like doing that thing where it's like, no, I couldn't possibly, but he's totally just going,
right.
Liquor, pot.
And he's actually a little tortured the whole time, too. It's not just like he's like faking it. He's like, he actually doesn't want to be doing it, and he's actually having a hard time, but he keeps doing it.
He's facing real, like, demons.
And what does he drink? Is it just like cheap white wine or something?
No,
Some
it's
sort
dark.
of weird
It's
moonshine.
Yeah. But it's in like a weird...
maybe, yeah.
It's like some cheap
It's
wine.
it's like his homemade Applejack or something.
Right. But I was going to ask before, like seeing a scene like this was totally natural in any of these movies in like 1980 or 81 or 79 or something. But like these days now, I don't even know. Does pot smoking happen casually in movies now?
It's not. Well, I think it's the opposite. I think maybe it's the opposite of what I was going to say it's the opposite of what you're saying, which is that it's so casual now that there's nothing. I think the joke of this scene will be kind of lost on future generations.
Well, they also did it in a way that it wasn't like in a movie where it's casually like someone's rolling it and they smoke a cigarette and it almost feels like, ooh, that's wrong. This is cartoonish because he pulls out a big, huge, massive blunt the size of a cigar. And it's not even it's just like paper rolled up. It's just like a joke. It's supposed to be comedical.
Yeah. But then, like even early, like we had the scene at the yacht club where they're just a bunch of people are smoking, passing a joint around, and it's not even a joke.
Yeah,
it's just like absolutely
casual
casual and normal.
In 1980, that would never happen because I remember.
Yeah, we had that discussion already.
Oh, that's true.
And I remember even in the 90s, like I remember when I was like in high school or after that, where it was like it felt really, really illicit, and I really thought I was going to get kicked out of my dorm a couple times, and I really worried about it. And I was like, we are doing we're doing drugs, Yeah. And it doesn't have that anymore. And I really think that later on, some of the comedy will be lost. It's not going to hold up.
I know we covered this story once, but I'm going to say it again. They could talk about the contact high. When I had that hash contact high, because someone came into my room and was smoking hash in college. Yeah. And I just said, fuck it. And I said, I took because I just got back from home from Christmas break. My mom gave me like $30 of quarters for laundry. And we just went into the machine and emptied out all the chicken salad in a can with crackers.
Oh my God.
That's so gross.
And just like I was literally like just throwing quarters against the wall, trying to get them in the machine. And then we finally just laying on the floor, just like running our finger on the inside of the can of like licking.
You take like a 500% increased chance of botulism over the mind of the hunger that you had.
Yeah.
Cannonball.
That's beautiful. Higher education. Cannonball.
Come back. You do it again.
Botulism.
Well, somebody recently got botulism here in California from nacho cheese at the gas station.
Goal.
You know that like nacho cheese dispenser?
Jesus Christ.
And it gets that dried up little bit of, not that I don't eat this stuff, but it gets that dried up little bit of nacho cheese on the end of the nozzle probably. And like some woman got botulism and died, or else she got very sick, and then some dude died a couple days later. There was botulism in the nacho cheese at the gas station. And
now, were either of them in the least surprised that they got botulism, or were they just like, well?
I think there'll always be a little bit of surprise when you get botulism. I don't think it's ever really totally expected. But
that's just.
A lot of people eat a lot of gross stuff and they don't get botulism, but.
That's true.
That is true. I do have to say, when you're eating that stuff, what are you doing with that?
Yeah.
This woman had put it on her Doritos, apparently.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But I used to eat that. I used to eat it in Florida, in St. Leo, Florida, when we were there. I used to stop at this gas station, eat those gas station hamburgers all the time. Throw them in the microwave and just eat them. And I ate a couple of them and went to this party. Where I was there with one of our friends who wasn't a big drinker, and we started drinking, and somebody brought out like just vodka lemonades in a pitcher, and we all I remember because we just got back from we just got there for the year, and we're like, let's shave our heads, so we're shaving our heads as well during this time, let's start the year off right, so we're shaving our heads
like you do.
Yeah, and the kid that was with us is like. He's like, he goes, I'll shave my head if I drink this entire pitcher, I'll end up shaving my head. So we made him drink it, and fast forward if we shaved his head, and then fast forward in the bathroom where he was just destroying the bathroom, just throwing up everywhere. Oh. And I'm holding it together. This was the last time I threw. We talked about when I threw up last year.
Oh, sure.
This was the last. Yeah. This was the streak starter. This was like 92, and this is when I last threw up. And I was trying to keep him alive at this point, and there's a bunch of people in there, and he's throwing up everywhere. And then something happened. Like I couldn't hold it anymore because I was right there, and I booted. And I remember it was the gas station burger was like stuck in my mouth and my teeth.
Jesus, Mike, what's the point of this story?
I don't know, but it's
you better
great.
get to the goddamn point because just so far it's been all gross details.
The point is, the
story about lips and assholes, and you're the asshole.
You brought up the botulism from the.
I did. It's timely. It's in the news.
From the gas stations, and I heard gas station. I remember I used to eat at gas station cheeseburgers all the time. And God damn it, the last time I threw up,
gas station cheeseburgers. Something tells me that they're not using certified prime grade Kobe beef for those.
No.
Oh my God. No.
All right. Love you guys. Good job.
What? You don't want to hear more details? I got some more details.
Well, let's do some trivia.
Jesus.
All right.
You know I don't have trivia.
Music?
You know I...
No, I didn't know that. Did
There's
you find
the music,
cards?
but where's the trivia?
We told you last episode
that...
we told you the last episode to find the cards, and all this time passed and you didn't find the cards?
It gets to the point where you're looking in the same spots over and over again, thinking this time the box of cards will be there. And then they're not. Of course they're not, because they weren't there last time.
How do they just
and that's
disappear,
what I keep doing.
How do they just disappear?
I don't know. Jody
Could you please
tidied
put your
up.
wife on, please?
I should drag her
put
down
her on,
here.
Please?
Yeah, go get her.
Can I talk to the manager? Can I talk to the manager, please?
She's indisposed.
No,
Is there something I can help you with?
Yeah, put her on, because the steak is not cooked to the way I wanted, so I want to talk to the manager.
The manager's in bed right now.
Okay.
I don't give a
that's
shit.
where I'm
Like a
going.
sensible person.
Great. Well, anyway, that was trivia.
That was trivia. Thank you. Nobody won.
Shit. What a pile of crap that's all become. Because
Well, hey,
Tom
listen.
lost the cards. Hey, who bought you that gift? Aren't they a little offended right now that you've lost
They
that
probably
gift?
are. My cousin David got me that.
Oh,
That was
sorry,
a beautiful
Cousin
gift.
David.
I'm
Hey,
sure it'll turn up again.
Cousin
as soon as
David,
we're done with the Caddyshack Minute.
post your address to the Caddyshack Minute listeners hole, and I'll send you a postcard.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, right after that, right now. And my
I
friend
have to
Jerry
go make
Porter.
dinner at 9:25
Yeah, you're supposed to have a
PM
hard
for my
out
girlfriend.
anyway.
You're my girlfriend.
was that-
I gotta go make dinner. Oh, my wife's in bed. We want to watch Netflix.
Oh, you're people in my life.
Meanwhile, I'm dialing in from wherever God blessed place I'm at 5 in the morning.
Mike's
I
got to
can
get
make
back
it
to
work.
talking to his Denmark Fitbit buddy.
B7.
There was no talking. It was just so and so Bjorn Zarbel has already walked another 500 steps, so I got to get up and move
They
around.
communicate through steps.
Now.
Yeah.
It's like
Like a horse.
like,
Step twice if it's a yes.
it's like Morse code. It's Morse code and steps.
Well, hey guys, I'm proud of us that we actually talked about Caddyshack a little bit in this
We
minute.
did get
That
a
was
little
good.
bit of Caddyshack in there. Look.
Yeah.
Long and short of it is he's in the shack still. This is one of those scenes that goes on for a few minutes because they're having a nice long conversation. This is the best part of it. Mm-hmm. Hey, quick question
actually.
though. What are the photos on the wall? I can't quite make them out. They are golfers, right?
Oh, are they?
Yeah, he's got these
I
photos
assumed
on the
that they
wall,
were-
and I think they're golfers.
Oh, I think you're right. I
But
was
they're put
assuming
up.
they were.
They're sort of put up as though they're like pornography.
I think a couple of them might be, but then you're right. Some of them look like they're just.
Could be both. It could be
Yeah,
Jack
like-
Nicklaus in Au Natural. The Golden Bear. I wonder if he's golden all the way through. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand what you're saying. What do you mean? Golden Bear all the way through.
Oh, hey, just
I feel
a quick note, Tom, to tell you about what Mike was talking about with the whole pot usage thing. In adulthood, it can be a little bit more complicated. To get a picture of this, watch the episode where Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm gives some to his dad, the great Nat David.
Son of Nat.
son of Nat. And then Larry has some, and then he goes in the bathroom and just berates himself in the mirror. It's a great
What's
scene.
the matter with you? Yeah, he goes,
you fucking loser.
That's all I need.
Or on Louis C.K. on his show, there's a scene where he gets high with the neighbor.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
All right. Great job, guys.
All right.
Yeah,
well done, everybody. Thank you, all the listeners, for listening to 78. We'll be back next time with 79. Do you guys have any parting words? No?
Stay in school. Don't even do drugs. But if you have to do... that is, I gotta say, I almost appropriated a joke from Louis C.K. there.
What was it?
Which I really liked, where he says, like, I don't do drugs, I never do drugs. Nope, I never do drugs. So that when I do, I really like that part. Sorry.
That's good.
Parting words.
All right.
That was my parting words, a Louis C.K. joke.
Yeah. We have no original ideas, so that's okay. You figured that out by now. But thank you. Come back next time. We'll talk about more Caddyshack and more other things here on the Caddyshack Minute.
Titular.
Hey, you scratched my ankle.